What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Beatles, and we're returning to the 1963 album Please Please Me. Thank you again to Vera, and in fact, I should mention, I now have a UK copy of Rubber Soul. I remember people quickly and accurately or perceptively noticed that the version that I showed when I showed all of the Beatles vinyl that I've gotten and the CDs and so on, that it was the American version, but Vera sent me the UK version, so we have that to go through also. In any case, the second track on Please Please Me from 1963 is another McCartney-Lennon composition, and it's Misery. Obviously, as a descriptive word, it is pretty straightforward. The idea of not just pain, but agony, suffering, and the intensity of that feeling. It is a single word title, so when it comes to thinking about what might be in the song thematically, those are harder to get a read on, but again, the word itself is clear enough, so let's see what I can pick up. I certainly don't think I've heard a Beatles song by this name, which again is somewhat interesting in that most of the Beatles material I have any background listening to is from their early phase because, as I mentioned last time around, my parents were very fond of their early stuff and they listened to it a lot when they were first together, so I heard some of that growing up. And to be fair, I have heard at least a few songs in later years from the Beatles, but overall the poverty of my knowledge of the Beatles is of course what this deep dive is meant to rectify. I'll make sure to have it on the right side here. I do. So this is, as I said, the Beatles. The song is Misery, and it's from Please Please Me, 1963. And again, the light on my turntable is out, so it's hard to see where the cuts are.
The world is treating me bad. Misery. I'm the kind of guy who never used to cry. The world is treating me bad. Misery. I've lost her now for sure. I won't see her no more. It's gonna be a drag. Misery. I remember all the little things we've done. Can't she see she'll always be the only one, only one? Send her back to me, 'cause everyone can see without her I will be in misery. I remember all the little things we've done. She'll remember and she'll miss her only one, lonely one. Send her back to me, 'cause everyone can see without her I will be in misery. Oh, in misery. Ooh, my misery.
They're really having some fun with the vocalizations there. That feels short. That feels like there probably was a longer edit, but for whatever reason, the studio decided, let's cut that one a bit early. Because it felt very abrupt. Like, they were still, again, playing with some vocal deliveries that convey emotions, and then it faded very quickly. But yeah, that's fun, and I like the lyrics. Like, first, it's like he's saying, okay, so he's in misery, and she's left, and she's not coming back, and it's like, it's about his misery and his mental state. But then eventually he's saying like, oh, I know that she'll be missing me, and maybe then she'll realize that she wants her one and only back, and maybe she'll turn around and return. And so, number one, it's actually a bit hopeful. Now, maybe he's projecting. Maybe he's like, well, I'm just going to have to believe that she feels the same way, because there's no way that she could not feel the loss, the emptiness where we used to have our relationship, our love. So again, maybe, because we don't hear her perspective, but yes, it seems like he's convinced she must be feeling the same way. And so by the end of the tune, it's at least possible that this isn't the last word on the matter, that she might actually return. But yeah, I enjoy the light, smooth feel of the Sonics. Definitely those little piano flourishes stand out because the piano, I don't know if you'd call it forte, but it's certainly not played very piano, very light. It has a bit more energy to it, and those flourishes were nice. And again, I enjoy their vocals. It's like one of the things I do remember when I would listen to the early Beatles that I am familiar with, which again is like Love, Love Me Do, and at least a couple of the others, which I know we'll get to in the not too distant future of this deep dive. But I just remember enjoying the sound of their vocals. They just had this, like really rich vocal sound, and it's clear that was there from the earliest days. So yeah, it's a catchy tune, it's a fun tune, and again, I know once we get deeper into this journey, there's going to be tunes that are a bit more experimental, a bit more, artful, whereas here it kind of has this pop catchiness to it, but definitely a fun tune. And it's interesting, right, when you get a song that has a contrast between the lyrical content, although again here there's a bit of both sides. He is in misery, and he might always be in misery, but maybe she'll come back, and there's a suggestion that things could be bright and happy again. But yeah, I enjoy when a tune has a bright sound, and then the lyrics are pain. The themes at hand, have a heaviness to them, because there's like a really interesting contrast and balance that comes from that. So yeah, a fun tune, and again, it'll be enjoyable to go through these early tracks of theirs that have a sound that I'm familiar with, because again, hearing Beatles growing up, especially their early stuff, but which I haven't actually heard the song in question. So yeah, once again, let me know what you think. And there were a couple people who commented in the previous Beatles reaction. I was like, oh, I'm aware there's kind of this rivalry between some Beatles and Stones fans, and I wonder, what people think about that. And at least one person commented that, the Beatles and Stones were friends. Like maybe there was a rivalry between some of the fan bases, but the actual musicians, were not like rivalrous toward each other. So I was very happy to hear that. And secondarily, I mentioned like, oh, next time I come around for the Beatles, maybe I'll start the Rolling Stones deep dive. Well, I'm going to do that. So if you are interested in them as well, check another reaction in this batch. So yeah, let me know what you think, and the Sleeping Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.